I cannot express my hype for this book so much. You know what? I am all for the found family trope. This one got it so much, and then I loved it so much. Kaya, all these social rejects coming together to, conquer a goal and then making a family out of each other. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today, I will be tier ranking all of 86 books I've read for the year of 2020. So far, mo na siya nga year ang more books I've read so far in my reading history and in terms of quality and quantity. So, I'm very pleased kay I've read pretty decent good books this year. Dili na siya may tabo kung wala ang quarantine. So, thanks for that. Kay dala ko time on my hands to reshape habits, well-being, and then I've read good books. So I will be tier ranking all of them. Okay, I will start my screen recording now. The top tier is important. Those are the ones I find nga really changed my perspective. Next is my favorites. So favorites aren't necessarily important or perfect. I really enjoyed them personally. People may hate them, pero to me, I loved it and I'm willing to reread it again soon. Next is Glad I Read It /meh/forgettable. These are the books nga 3 stars or like forgettable siya. Glad I read it. Yeah, no much impact. Next is Disappointed. So nice stuff nga kung pang read nga famous siya sa Booktube, and then I suppose I should read them. I read them, and then wala siya nilibot to the hype. Lastly is DNF. DNF books, if wala yun siya nipasok sa akong taste, I don't rate books 1 star. If di siya gana sa ako, then I will DNF it. But here goes. Okay. Clockwork Angel. It was, I don't know, okay. Like, the proceed ang story sa, nabasa naman ako ang, yeah, it's here. I read the first 3 books of Mortal Instruments, and then I followed that list na ang next na i-read sa City of Glass will be Clockwork Angel. It was fine to me. Next is I'll Give You the Sun. Ooh, okay, so I DNF'd it. Pero, filming it now nga 2021 na, kay I want to really tilokon ang 2020 kung how much I've read mo kung first of my TBR this 2021. So, I DNF'd it last 2020. Next is Six of Crows. My God, this was so good. Way better than the Grisha trilogy. The trilogy was, I don't know, a mess. It was like written by a different author entirely. Like, I was like, well, Lee Bardugo, where did all of this masterpiece came from? I'm gonna put it to important. We need to talk about Kevin was really a ride to me. It really discussed how like nature versus nurture, stressful read, pero like maka-overthink gid ka sa everything about parenting. A House at the Bottom of the Lake. I'm glad I read it. It was unique, like out of my comfort zone read, but I'm glad I read it. Angels and Demons. You know what? This is the year where I dived into Dan Brown, the first 2 books. There's also here, the Da Vinci Code. I really thought it would be very mind-blowing. I thought it would change my mind. Pero mura lang siya conspiracy theories na, I don't know, gathered into book. No, not so much for me. The Art of Thinking Clearly. Okay, so I read some non-fiction this year, and though you can't really rank them because, people take it differently, pero to me, most of the non-fiction I read were important and a favorite because, yeah, it's really useful in life. Next, Atomic Habits. Ooh, important. Because, you know what, this year, I've overcome bad habits and it's because of this book. Next is Autobiography. A favorite because I love it so much. Beartown, important. I didn't know Beartown would be so amazing. Like, it's my first take, I guess, into fiction book. And then this one did it for me. It's about like rape culture and then like how much things that we perpetuate really affect generations. That Paradox, DNF it. But it was my first take into Junji Ito nga manga. I don't know, it was, the vibe were creepy. And then, I love the art, pero didn't really compel me to finish it. Boyfriend Material, I'm glad I read it because I've also read male-male romances this year, and Boyfriend Material wasn't the one I was leaning on. Red, White, and Royal Blue. Asa na to? Basta na actually, Dani, it was my bet compared to this. The Brightest. Ooh, it cured my reading slump when I arrived from Manila. Pero, it was my favorite. The Kiss Quotient was my favorite last year, but not this one so much. The Romance Book Club. Okay, I was disappointed with this one. I thought it would really be makasuck in sa akong feelings, but I don't know, ang trope nga second chance romance, kailangan daw kayang redemption arc para ma-win gid ko over the characters, but this one, okay lang. Captive Prince, okay, it's a favorite, pero I'm not willing to reread it. It was good as it is, but it's a favorite. City of Ashes, you know what? I'm glad I read it. It wasn't really impactful na fantasy. City of Bones, glad I read it. City of Glass, well, things happened in this one. Nagiganahan kay ko. It was like, well, considering it was really a big chunk of a book, and then makontinue pa yun siya, it was okay. It was supposed to be a wrap-up daw sa Mortal Instruments, but makontinue pa siya. It was good. Conclave, a favorite. Smut and romance can be greatest guilty pleasure. Credence, okay, I'm glad I read it. This was a really, really wild book. Some are disappointed, but to me, it was long, but I'm glad I read it. It's okay. Dangerous Girls, I was disappointed. Kaya abi na ako, grabe ka. I was disappointed. I thought it would really be a shocker, you know. Dark Duet, you know what? I was disappointed sa kaninga series, Monsters of Verity. I was really disappointed kay abi na ako. It would really amaze me kay it's by V.E. Schwab. It doesn't mean nga same author, like amazing authors write books, and it doesn't mean nga amazing sila tanan, because they can really be like Lee Bardugo nga murag written by another author ang mga amazing books nila. I also read this year ang Vicious. That one got me. It was really nice, very intense. Pero Monsters of Verity, not so much. Dark Lover, ooh, I also dived in to the Black Dagger Brotherhood this year, and I don't know, so far, it was good. It's gonna be a favorite. Dark Matter, very unique, but I'm glad I read it. It's not a favorite. Da Vinci Code, disappointed kay gabi kaya siya ka-hyped up, like the blurbs are just so walay pulos. Kaya abi na ako, grabe ka amazing and grabe ka maka-twist sa fate. Dead Mountain, I DNF it. I listened to the audiobook. Pero, it was a very nice experience. Non-fiction siya, pero I didn't finish it kay nag-listen ako ani while gabuhat ko og chores sa balay, and then di ba perminti, so ma-stop na ako siya. Until now, 2021, nag-listen ko continually. 6 hours siya, pero I'm at about 4 hours mark. 30 letters, you know what? It was meh. Meh or DNF? DNF. DNF na ako siya about 54% into the book. Kay disappoint kay ko kay dili kayo redeemable ang ilahang reunion. Happy with that. DNF ni kay kaning kay Secret is ang manhwa. DNF kay wala pa siya na finish. So, Forbidden Well, it was good. You know what? This one, this non-fiction, it was full of random facts that people I supposed need to know, pero that's okay. I'm glad I read it. The Foxhole Court. I cannot express my hype for this book so much. You know what? I am all for the found family trope. This one got it so much, and then I loved it so much. Kaya, you know, all these social rejects coming together to, you know, conquer a goal, and then making a family out of each other. Ganon kay kung ano yun. Okay, I mean, I'm gonna put all of the series here since I've read it, I don't know, in a week, in a month. Is this freaking romance? Yeah. I'm glad I read it. Pero DNF, kay wala pa siya na-finish, but I've read so much. Like, dinapas ko sa 100 chapters mark. So, I'm gonna put it so glad I read it, pero pa siya na-finish, okay? Gifting me to his best friend. Okay, so, you know what, kanang dagan kay ko gapasahon nga book, kailan gina ako another guilty pleasure to like stop reading experience. Grabe ka intense. And then I'm gonna read some banging is the plot kind of thing. That I read it because these kind of books, mga novela, and then the banging is the plot, cures my read slump. Gillian Flynn's Gone Girl. Glad I read it. It was a thriller and there are stuff that shocked me because I haven't watched the movie yet. Yun na din akong book before watching the movie. It was fine. Graceling, some scenes are so good in here, but meh, okay. Heartstopper. Oh my god, this is a favorite. I loved. Alice Oseman just got this so much LGBT romance nga grabe ka nice. I also read her Loveless for DNF na ko It Will Come Later. Will Be My Ruin. It was forgettable. You know what? I don't know. To me, predictable ang stuff na nahitabo. It's okay. Him, favorite. Yes. Because, okay, I'm gonna explain na ni Karon. Him was my kind of male-male romance nga. You know, bam! Action. There's no, dili siya slow burn ha. I mean, technically, the what happened was slow burn. They started it off when they were teenagers. Pero you know what? It didn't start off slow. It was like, bam! This happened. And what's gonna happen? Something like that. It was very good. Not like, Boyfriend Material. Boyfriend Material was fade to black. And I'm not for that. I want to see everything that's gonna happen to them. Every scenes, especially the intimate ones. I Let You Go, it was a disappointment. I didn't, slow kay siya though. Ito na Darren Deep. I'm glad I read it or favorite. It was really unique for a sci-fi book, and then, like, nakakita ko wala gi-romanticize ang sirens. Like, these are vicious killing machines ng mermaids. And then, dinibita nga, oh, I'm pretty, I'm a mermaid, I can sing, I can lure people, I can lure sailors, and no, very nice, well done, but it was long though, so it was okay. Junkie, DNF, because I was really looking for this kind of romance. The action, good or evil, babies. It was a DNF, pero I'm gonna continue reading this soon enough. Kill Switch, favorite, because I love Damon so much. This romance, like, ganan kay ko kay kang Damon, his redemption arc was so good, you know? I really hated him for the first 2 books of this series, but this book did it for me. I was like, I was gushing with my classmate at this, and I was like, okay. I loved it. Favorite. Third book of the Foxhole Court. It's gonna go in here because it's where the romance happened between Neil and, okay, that's a spoiler, King's Rising. Okay, a part of the Captive Prince series, so I'm gonna put it here, favorite. Less DNF because I didn't really expect it to be so bland. Nga pa na may prize, pero like, okay. Loveless DNF because wala gining sakit sa pagka-mood reader, you know. Kung wala ko sa mood something, I'm gonna stop reading it kaysa sa maruin ako experience reading the book. So, now nga 2021 na, I'm gonna put it into my TBR. Lover Awaken, Sadist, favorite. The first book and this book, Sadist's book, was my, I loved it. Lover Eternal, not so much. Lover Veiled, not so much. Lover Unbound, okay, no. Madame Giselle, it was a DNF kay nagpadayon pa siya, wala pa continuation. Nightfall, you know what? Things were wrapped up, I don't know, okay in this book, pero it was pretty long, and then I really thought Will was gonna end up with the one that I shipped, but no. Night Film, I was so disappointed. I thought grabe siya ka-action-packed thriller mystery something. It just dragged on, you know? No Exit, I was so disappointed. I thought, well, okay. Bonus for its action. It's really so much action than a thriller. For me, I really need to have this compulsion nga kailangan ako mabala ng unsa-unsa something kani kay it just gives you scenes like all throughout the night. The book happened in that span of time. All the action that happened, there's gory scenes. I didn't expect it. Like, going into this, I thought it was really gonna be a thriller nga. Oh, but no. This is Gambit. Well, a favorite, of course. I'm gonna put, the highlight of this more like male-male romance thing akong nasugdan will be The Captive Prince and The Foxhole Court, because the books were trilogies. They were good to me. Radio Silence, it was important. I don't know, favorite or important? Important. Because you know what, imagine reading Radio Silence when you're off to university, thinking about what you really want to do, and then, like, is school really the whole part of life? Like, is it really the only thing that's important in life? Okay, The Raven King. Okay, so much happened in this book. Also, a favorite. Okay, so I read this classic, probably the only classic I've read this year. I mean, the year of 2020. It would be meh or forgettable, but I'm glad I read it. Red, White, and Royal Blue! Favorite! Okay, nothing. It was really, ganun kay ko sa mga scenes, you know, the banter! I'm all for it. Ruin and Rising, meh. Disappointed kay ko ane. Kaya abi na akong tsada kay siya. Gracia Trilogy just did nothing to me. Sadie, I'm so disappointed. Kaya abi na ako nga, grabe kay siya ka-amazing. But this is more like same sa Illuminate Files, na the audio was so much well done than the plot. More like the experience of the audio is important. Sapiens, DNF, but it was an important book. Like, it's like the science lessons everyone should know about. Did not finish it, sadly, kaya I've listened to the audiobook lang at first, and then reading, good reader man ko, and I was in the mood for some action at that time, so I stopped reading it. Siege and Storm, again, disappointed. Gracia Trilogy just disappointed me so much. Abi mo kailangan ako i-read ang Gracia Trilogy kung mag-proceed sa Six of Crows. But some people dived into Six of Crows without knowing anything, and they still loved it. Like Cindy, Read with Cindy. The Silent Patient, okay. I saw the plot twist coming. It was okay for a thriller. More like, for a person nga say basa o kuan, makimabalaan na gini mo eventually ang pattern and the trope. And this one, I'm all for the unreliable narrator, pero I saw it coming on this one. The Simple Wild, well, okay. It was okay. Good romance, not so much sexy scenes. The Silent Patient, and then Simple Wild. I stopped at that moment. I stopped the screen at that moment kay na-stop akong screen recording, but yeah, I'm gonna carry on. Slave to Sensation was my first take into the Psy Changeling series. It was okay to me, considering it was written so many years ago, but it was okay. Talking to Strangers, this is important, not so much a takeaway, pero grabe ka siyang information na ginhatag sa imuha, and then all that context in the years of talking to strangers. I listened to the audiobook, it was so good. All that instrument, and then like reality, something. I learned a lot in this one, pero it doesn't really tell you how to talk to strangers. It's like more of like the context of everything. Okay, so Thanks for the Trouble. It was okay. I was disappointed, pero I'm glad I read it kay I also had takeaways on this one nga, like this living for a long time, really worth it, seeing all that grief around you, everyone passing, and then you just continuing on with life, all those things. Like, thought-provoking siya. The Girl on the Train, DNF, but I'm gonna read it probably this year na, 2021. The Master, The Master was, I'm so disappointed sa The Master, but the first book though, The Professional, was a favorite. It was my first Wesley Cole book, and then all the things in there, the scenes, it was so hot. Next is The Cabin at the Other World. I'm disappointed, but kinda okay. I read it. Glad I read it because the ambiguity was in there. I loved it, but not so much a favorite. The Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue, I'm so disappointed. I really thought nga grabe kaya siya ka-nice, but you know what? To me, autobiography was better. The Kind Worth Killing, a favorite, because this was the kind of thriller nga fast-paced. A lot happened in a book. The one, I I love it. I love the one because it was like a Black Mirror episode. You know what? Most of them were from Gabby Reed's channel because I love her favorite recommendations, book recommendations. I usually take her favorites and unsay ang mga recommendations na thriller because I trust her tastes. And then so far, this one, she said it was gonna be a Black Mirror episode, and it's so like that. Mura gyud siya Black Mirror episode. Very nice, a thriller. Fast-paced too. The Power of Habit. It was a DNF, but I'm gonna read it this year, 2021. The Wild. Well, it was okay. It was okay. Nasty, but okay. The Woman in the Window. I'm so disappointed by this one. Kaya I thought it was gonna be fast-paced. The twist shocked me a little bit. Forgettable siya, but I'm disappointed kaya I really went into this with high expectations. This is how it always is. Oh my gosh! A favorite or an important? Important. Because, you know what? This really moved me and made me think about parenting and then how to handle things with queer children. I don't know. This book really put it so well. The Savage Song, again, I'm so disappointed. I thought this was gonna be something amazing. Pero, vicious though. Okay, I'm gonna go into that later. Cheryl Strayed's Dear Sugar, DNF, kay as a mood reader, I don't really tend to read so much ng mga inani kay since letter siya. Yeah, hello, it's editing path right now, and I know, weird lighting, but I just figured out right now upon editing, ang recording din ako kay walay audio, so I'm gonna explain briefly what happened for the rest of my tea ranking. Kay total, mga around 9 books na lang nabilin. Okay, so we stopped at Cheryl Strayed. Yeah, that book was, as a mood reader, again, DNF na ko siya kay wasn't really in the mood for such things. Pero when you read it, it's like the letters from Sugar. It's like, even though wala kayo na nga problema, something was fixed inside you. Parang ginana siya ka-feeling. Next is Too Much and Never Enough by Mariel Trump. Non-fiction, but I DNF'd it because I listened to the audiobook on this one while doing chores. And wasn't really compelled. Unravel was, I don't know, it disappointed me so much. Kaya binako gabi ka, wow, ang plot twist. I mean, predictable siya, and then shallow. So, next would be Unteachable. This book was so sexy, and then it was okay. Glad I read it. Forgettable. Vicious. This one was the book by V. Schwab that felt really intense to me. Your Dad Will Do was another one of those banging is the plot books, novella, so it was short. The Roommate disappointed me because I expected more from it. It's like a me thing. I thought it would be really a heart-stopping romance book, but no, it was sexy, but it didn't really work for me. The ending was pretty hasty too. So next is Us. It's the second book of Him by Serena Bowen, the one I hyped so much. It's like bonus scenes after their happily ever after. There's still a conflict in here, and more of them having sexy times. Next is Mistborn. Like lipay kay ko nga nabasa na ko ni siya before pa 2021. Over the break, I read this. It was so good. It's my first look into the Cosmere books by Brandon Sanderson, and then I didn't think it was that intense. I love the straightforward writing. I love the plot. I love everything. And so far, I've loved Sarah J. Maas's books as fantasies because I love that romance plus fantasy nga mix. Pero kani, it made me not care about the romance. It made me like, oh my God, so may romance ani. Kay ganahan kay ko sa plot and everything. Forget the romance. It was good. The magic systems, muna siyang defining moment sa akong fantasy reading taste. I like this one. Not very prosy writing. Makes the book so much slower. Kani kay fast-paced and keeps me wondering that it was pretty thick, but I read it so fast. So, that's pretty much it. On to my outro nga na ay audio. These ideas of tier ranking all the books I've read in 2020. Many booktubers already did this, and then I suppose I should do it because ang uban nga booktuber 100 plus silang nabasa, and then ako mga 80 something lang. So I thought it's gonna be short and easy. So these are the books I've read in 2020, and then here are the ones I'm gonna recommend, of course, and then I should be making another video like para maka-blabber ko everything about them. But yeah, try them. If it's gonna work for you, then good. If not, then okay. You're probably gonna love some of my meh books though. So that will be all, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in another video. Bye!